bitch bastard. Hello, guys. Sunday Blessed here again with my favorite, very funny man, very jolly man. As you can see, very happy man, and morning coffee to you. I know, Dave, you like your coffees. Where's your coffee?
Have you stole that from Starbucks?
No, from Malkeet Singh on the corner shop. You know what I mean? It's a fake Versace one. So, Dave, how have you been? How is it going? How are you feeling? I like to get a feedback off you. Like, I feel like sometimes, you need to open up a bit more and talk to me. You don't talk to me enough.
It was great until about 5 minutes ago. It suddenly went very downhill.
Why? Tell me.
Because I'm having to talk to you.
Oh, come off. You love me.
Anyway, I'm quite impressed you managed to count from 5 back to 1. That's progress.
Oh, listen. Let me put my screen properly. Fuck
this. What are you doing, you great orangutan?
No, I'm trying to get the best angle for my ugly face. You know what I mean?
Keep going down. Down.
Hi, Dave. I swear to God, I'm going to bitch slap your ass with a nappy rash.
Oh, please. That sounds wonderful. I'm looking forward to that. Will you wear the dress as well?
I'm gonna what's it? And I dress up as a Chinese woman, You know them Chinese fucking bars where they go to these businessmen and you people like you come, want to be pampered.
I wouldn't know anything about such things, but you seem very experienced about it.
I'm a guy with a lot of experience from you. You know what I mean? The stories what you tell me by going abroad every time, going to different countries. You're a man of very, you know what I mean? You're like, where's Wally? Fucking hell, I never know where you are these days.
I haven't been right. Hang on a minute. I went to Turkey for my holiday. A month ago? And before that,
No, you didn't go to Turkey. You went to Greece, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry, I went to Greece.
See that? You fucker. You don't even know where you're going.
Not at the moment, no.
Fucking Turkey and Greece. How can you get that wrong? One's like me balls, greasy, and the other one's like me titties, turkey titties. How can you get that wrong?
That's not an image I want in my head on a Sunday morning. There isn't enough brain bleach in the world to deal with that.
Dave, your brain is full of fucking bleach because you forget everything.
I do forget everything. You are right. I have a very busy week, unfortunately. I'm working in court Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, possibly. And then obviously just the usual run-of-the-mill shite.
So tell me, apart from, you're happy to see me this morning, what have you got planned today with the lovely missus?
Nothing. So today's work, mate. I've got finished for you. Yeah. We've got a client coming in 15 minutes for Bloods.
Or have you? That early?
Yeah. We open at 7 in the morning.
Fucking no rest for the wicked. And people think we just sit on our arse all day, don't we?
Well, people think they can also message you at like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then they get pissed off when you don't reply to them. It's like, for fuck's sake, guys, it's a business. It's not fucking 24-hour chat line.
Well, listen to this, I've got this option on my website, where, people, even if they've got like small questions to ask, like under 100 words, so they can say to me, oh, Zach, I've got this problem, and you know what I mean? So I can answer it quickly, so it's cheap, you know what I mean? So it's only like £2.50 to ask a question, you know what I mean? A small one. Not gonna take long. So this guy, the cheeky fucker, guess what he does? He starts writing this question. He goes, "Hi Zach, I have this problem. I've included an email for you," and the email was that long. You can fuck right off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind answering odd questions here and there.
No. But the thing was, I said to him, I go, listen, this is not just one question. It's about 10 questions because you're asking me about your training, your diet. What I need to do is ask further questions. But do you know what I mean? It's like, I can't just do it on that.
No, I mean, it's people will message you and obviously they want advice. You put yourself out there as knowing what you're talking about. So they want advice. And I don't have an issue with helping anyone to a point, but some people do really take the piss. I mean, it's like they'll ask you a question about something, you answer it, then there's another one. And before you know it, they're turning around and saying, oh, right, well, what cycle should I run? And how should I do this? And it's like, come on, guys, this is how I earn my living. At the end of the day, there's I'm little questions, little bits and bats, quite happy to answer.
Yeah.
And the other thing is as well, don't send a message with because some of them will send you messages and it's like, I want this question answered. And it's like, look, it starts with, hi Dave, any chance you can answer a question? That puts me in a better mood than I want this question answering sort of thing.
Or basically, when they just come out with a question, what do you think?
Well, the other one, I had one the other day. Is like, how do I get massive? It's just
Yeah, like
what's the gate? That's the ring when you divert your calls to mine.
Oi, listen. When I divert my calls to yours, it's the Batman sign.
No, it's not.
You're
about as Batman.
Oh, shut up. Listen, since it's Sunday today, a lot of people are going to be interested in this, yeah?
Okay.
Like, the thing about it is, somebody asked me the other day, because when you know your test that, when you're off a cycle,
Yeah.
when you're ready to go back on, and a perfect example I give to him was that when you wake up in the morning and you get a boner, and naturally get a boner every morning, you're ready to go back onto a cycle. But if you're not reaching that point at the moment, you're not ready because your natural test levels haven't kicked back in yet. So what do you think about that advice? Or am I being too...
I think the best way, without doubt, is to do a blood test to see where the fuck you are. But I get that it's an added expense. It's another thing that you have to pay for.
Yeah.
And yeah, morning wood is an indication that you've got reasonable test production. It's not fail safe, but one thing that probably some people don't realize is you'll also get morning wood if you need to pee.
Yeah, no. What I mean to say to the guy was, yeah, you do.
Yeah,
piss goes everywhere.
But that's actually so you can actually get a hard on because you need a pee, not because you're actually got test. But
listen. Don't be saying this to people. Guys are going to now wake up in the morning for a piss and they're thinking they can fuck their last and they got a hard on, but they haven't.
No, it goes as soon as you pee anyway. But,
okay.
Yeah, it's, for decades, guys judged what to do by how they felt. So it's not that it's not possible. It is possible and you can do it.
Yeah.
But you can make mistakes as well. Like when you look at estrogen management, high estrogen and low estrogen from a point of how you feel and from a point of erectile problems are very, very similar. Yeah, the main differences with high is obviously water retention, which you won't get that with low. So you can feel your way through things to a degree. I would say if you've done a cycle, you've done your PCT, and you're now getting to the point where you're getting morning wood again, I would stay there 4 weeks, maybe even a bit longer before you'd look at going back on.
Oh, exactly. So, like, soon as you reach that point, you start getting morning wood or something, and you can't afford a blood test. At least fucking keep that a bit longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because you're in that position, you're priming yourself for a cycle. You'd rather be at a cycle. I always say to people, when you're going back onto a cycle, you want to be at level 10 before you start your cycle, health-wise. Test level-wise, natural test. So why start when you're just getting up to 1, 2, 3, creeping up? You know what I mean? You got that much more to go. So stay a bit longer off the cycle. It's going to do you good, and you're going to bounce back better.
Yeah, obviously, most people don't PCT anymore anyway. Everybody goes to a TRT or cruise or whatever they want to call it. But if you're going to go that route, when you finish your PCT and you start to see erection and natural function returning in that sense, in how you feel and how your libido is and everything else, your body is actually at that point still recovering. The Leydig cells, the cells in your balls and MEC test, are still recovering. They want some time fully operational to be fully recovered. Now, when you go on cycle, you suppress your natural function. I think most people are aware of this. When you're suppressed, those Leydig cells don't get stimulated. Because they don't get stimulated, they start to shrink and atrophy.
That's why you get pea-sized balls.
Yeah.
And they suck into your fucking stomach when people say, oh, when a girl lifts your dick up, saying, where's your balls gone? Where's your balls gone?
You never had any anyway, don't be lying.
Listen, there's 2 things I've got in this life, is my balls and my word, like Scarface says.
Yeah, just no dick. Anyway.
I'm I'm cutting that bit out. Fuck off.
Yeah, you will do. You will. Anyway, so if you go back on too soon, firstly, those Leydig cells haven't had a chance to fully recover and establish themselves. And two, obviously, from a suppression point of view, you're starting at an already semi-suppressed state. So suppression will happen quicker, but that means that the cumulative damage happens quicker, and you'll get to a point where you're TRT dependent much quicker. Stat-wise, study-wise, they reckon around 6 to 8 cycles is usually the point where people become TRT dependent and they will no longer recover. But I do know people that have cycled for much longer periods of time, as in they've done more cycles.
Okay.
And they're still recovering, but that's because they are taking the time to make sure they've recovered, to make sure levels are back up, and spending some time natural before they go on their next suppressive cycle. So, the more you cycle, the more often you cycle, the rapider you're going to get to a point of the fact that your balls just don't work anymore.
So tell me on this occasion then. So somebody who's starting a cycle.
Yeah.
So each time you start a cycle, for the newbies out there, they need to understand this. You start your first cycle, your balls are going to stop working once you start the cycle because you're injecting test into your body now. So once you've done that cycle, whether it's 12 weeks or whether, for the first cycle, where do you think the cut-off point would be for a person to say, this cycle is long enough now? Because some people will do an 8-week cycle and thinking that's long, but really they're just getting into it.
I would say 8 would be the minimal for injectables. A lot of people have this argument, well, it needs to be longer because it takes time for the drugs to get in your system.
Yeah.
Now, the reality is that within 24 hours of that first injection, your testosterone levels are already elevated.
Yeah.
It takes time for the downstream effects to take hold. Yes, that is true. Mm-hmm. But the delay that you've got at the start for feeling it is the same as you have at the end when you finish. So when you finish your cycle, your levels are still elevated for several weeks. Mm-hmm. So there isn't really, a slow start still means a slow finish as well. So, but a lot of it as well is, we're probably a bit bad for this in that we plan a cycle, we denote a time we're going to do that cycle for, be it 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 weeks, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then we tend to doggedly stick to that.
Yeah.
And there's no issue with, say you decided to do, let's go to the middle, so you decided to do a 12-week cycle. Mm-hmm. You get to week 8 or week 9, you're feeling like dog shit, you're picking up injuries, things aren't working, then finish the cycle. There's no point continuing if you're not making progress or you're not able to make progress.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you get to week 12 and you're flying, there's no reason why you can't extend a few weeks as well. So, you want to approach it with a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. So you heard what Dave said here. Listen, everything doesn't need to be set in concrete. Go on how you feel. Like you just said, if you feel good, you're getting stronger, you're eating more food, and gym sessions are going good, why the fuck are you going to stop? Only start stopping when you know you're not eating your food, you're losing your appetite, you're feeling shit in the gym, everything's going the opposite direction. So why are you going to waste gear? It's your body telling you something's not right. So this is where you need to get blood tests done because it's going to give you a definitive answer what's going on. It's not guesswork. Them days of guesswork is gone now. Let's not fucking guess with our body. Let's not play Russian roulette with it. Do you know what I mean? If there's something not right, you can't guess that. And your doctors are not going to tell you that because doctors are going to straight away say, you should be not doing this, you should be not doing that. What we're doing is illegal anyway. So they're not going to be helping us with that anyway because we're just junkies, aren't we, Dave? We're junkies.
Well, it's not illegal to use; it's only illegal to supply. But from a medical point of view, what is the safest way to take steroids? Not take them at all. Yeah. Any medical professional's approach is going to be cessation of use. Stop using, because that's the safest way of dealing with steroid use is not to use.
Yeah.
But obviously, people don't want that answer. They want practical advice that enables them to continue to cycle.
Yeah, hang on a minute there. So they'll say it's safe not to use steroids altogether. But if I say I identify as a bitch, I'm a woman, and I need fucking TRT, the hormone, you know what I mean? They'll give me that. They'll give it to people who want sex change.
Yeah, but you are a bitch. I've seen your estrogen level.
Oh, fucking tell them. Tell them about my estrogen level. Remember the first time you had it tested, eh? You said to me, what the fuck are you taking? Your estrogen is sky high.
Yeah, Zach, actually, we're quite similar in this. Zach converts to estrogen at a very high rate. I do as well. And we're both actually very tolerant of it. And what a lot of people view estrogen as the enemy. It's not. It's not. It just needs to be managed in the best place for you. The higher you can tolerate estrogen, the better growth you'll get. Estrogen is actually a very powerful hormone and very useful for muscular growth. And I do put down to the fact that I was able to grow as big and as well as I did because I could tolerate much higher estrogen levels than most people. And yeah, Pussy Boy here is a bit the same way. He's hormonally, he's should be called Mrs. Khan.
Shut up, Dave. Yeah, so the funny thing was, I went to Dave first time to get my blood turned, and he said to me, "Oh, what are you taking?" I said, "Oh, I'm taking Test Deca and Mastron at the time." You know what I mean? So I wasn't taking much because you can't be taking Mastron because your fucking estrogen is fucking sky high. I was like, no, honestly, it goes fucking get it checked, and you know, and also that's also how I found out I was taking some bump gear as well because Mastron is meant to bring it down as well. So this is where Dave suggested to me that I need to be taking AI. You know what I mean? And then obviously we brought it down, but we didn't bring it down that much, did we? Because we didn't have to because I was feeling good.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a mistake people make as well sometimes.
Yeah.
When you look at bloods, you may have levels that are a little bit out in the sense that, say, estrogen's a little bit high. Look at that, but also balance that with how you feel and what you're experiencing. You know, for argument's sake, upper range, I think it's 149 for estrogen. If you're, say, 220, but you feel good, you've got no water retention, you've got no problems, then there's no real need to bring that down. But a lot of people automatically go, "Oh, right, I've got high estrogen, I need to bring it down." It's not always necessary. And to be fair, estrogen is also very supportive of healthy cholesterol profile. So estrogen helps with that. So, you know, there is a little bit of a balance between what the science says in the sense of what the blood test numbers are bringing back. But don't completely discount how you feel as well, because that needs to be taken into account as well. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It really is that simple.
Yeah, because Dave, you know, when I first started a cycle, and I remember two things were the most important things people would tell you about is your estrogen and your test. So you always aim for the fucking highest test level, and then it's your estrogen.
Lowest.
Yeah, and the lowest estrogen level. So you would fucking overdo it on the AI thing. You know, you'll take Aromazine, Arimidex, and you will bring your estrogen so fucking low. And, you know, your joints will be fucking, tendons will be tight. And I think that's the reason sometimes I look back at my bodybuilding journey, and I think that's the reason I probably got fucking injuries, because I kept too fucking low on the estrogen.
Possibly. There's no doubt that, you know, low estrogen is going to be negative towards joints. It's also going to be negative towards eyesight as well, actually. But yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you know, it's like a lot of things with this stuff. It's this balance. It's about having a healthy balance. And unfortunately, it'd be nice to say, oh, the balance is X, Y, Z, but it isn't. The balance is different for everybody. There's a generalization as a start point, but then once you get to that point, you've then got to start looking at what works for you. You know, I mean, downtime from drugs is important. You get a lot of guys now that run what they call sports TRT, or they're now just saying cruise, and they're cruising on 200 megatest and 200 megamass, 150 megamass. There's stress from using these drugs. There's a stress build-up in the body.
But the problem you got, Dave, is these are kids. These are kids on sports TRT. They're not even, you know, they're still in the early 20s, eh? And then basically what they're doing is they're starting a cycle. They're feeling great, fucking going on hard drugs like Tren, what they shouldn't be using at that point. Do you know what I mean? And then after that, they're getting all these other side effects. And after a couple of weeks being on the cycle, the prolactin is built up. They got erection problems. So now they're taking another drug to mitigate that problem. So then they're taking Viagra, Cialis, shit like that to even get it up. So it's they're building up on drugs, so they're masking all the fucking problems. Instead of starting a cycle and saying, okay, I've reached this point now. Why am I feeling like this? You need to get it checked out and find out what the problem is. But instead, they're thinking some guy in the gym will say, oh, bro, don't worry. Just have some Viagra before and you'll be fine. And they keep doing that then.
Well, I mean, it's difficult to convince people that actually doing a cycle and then having either a legit TRT period or time off, depending on your choice,
Yeah.
is actually going to be better for making the next cycle more productive, because you're going to go into that cycle fitter and healthier than running a high cruise dose of a total of 300 to 500 milligrams, which, is, to be fair, is a cycle, really.
Yeah, of course it is.
And then going on to a cycle, because you're going to be going into that cycle already stressed. You're going to be going to that cycle already drug fatigued. And as a result, you're not going to get the same level of growth as you would if you allowed levels to come down. And a lot of guys, oh, yeah, but I'm losing size. Well, I'm sorry, and this people probably won't like this, but if you're losing size off cycle, 99% of the time it's because your training and your diet aren't where they need to be. Usually you're training, and you're compensating with the drugs. So, and this is what leads to people. I don't think people actually realize that there is a growing number of people out there that just cannot stop using anabolics or cannot bring them down to sensible levels. And it sounds a lot like addiction, because technically it is addiction. You know, they're so paranoid about losing size. They've used drugs to compensate for poor work ethic, poor diet, poor training to such an extent, and they now identify so strongly with the way they look that for them to stop drug use is literally threatening who they are. And that's intimidating for anybody. I don't care who you are when your identity's threat. I mean, you see this in sports people, that when they finish professional sports, they have identity problems because they're no longer a cyclist or a tennis player or a swimmer. They're now just somebody. And bodybuilding is very similar. You know, a lot of bodybuilders struggle to drop size and go into retirement because they're just known for being this person.
And the problem you got, Dave, is it's like for bodybuilding, it's a lot harder compared to other sports because we have built this persona on our size. So it's more evident when looking at our bodybuilder saying, oh my God, look at me.
You're a physical representation of who you are, yes. Rather, where a tennis player is a performance-based reputation, exactly. A bodybuilder is a physical reputation. It's something that stays with you 24/7,
Yeah, because what you've built is, that's what you marketed yourself on. That's what companies want to sponsor you for, the way you look. You know what I mean? And that's the problem what you have. Bodybuilding can be such a dark place, It's such a dark place in the way that, you know, we get into a sport, we just want to, whatever reason you want to do it for, but now it seems like everybody wants to be a social media influencer, and that's what their main goal is for. Because if social media wasn't around now, there wouldn't be half of these people training. We know that, you know that. Yeah. And the problem you got is just, the straight, well, they'll train for a couple of weeks, a young lad will say, oh, I'm ready for a cycle now. He'll go on a cycle, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. After his first cycle, he'll put a bit of size on, feeling great, and then after that, it wasn't now. He'll get some more bad advice. Before he knows it, he's had 3 cycles. He's done random cycles. He's not done any PCT after him or anything like that. And by now, his blood work is whack. He's fucked. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's why when they come to you, they come a bit fucking too late. Instead of, I always say to people, listen, before you even start a cycle, get your bloods done. See where they are before you even started your cycle. So then that way, you got something to look back onto and say, okay, when I come off a cycle, I know where I've got to be near. Not almost there, but close enough to there. So you always got a representation of where you came from. But and then when they start this cycle, they feel like fucking 10 men. They feel like fucking Zeus, Hercules, whatever, in the fucking gym, throwing weights around on fucking camera. People loving their persona. And then the problem they've got now is they're addicted to the drugs now. They can't come off it. They'll come off it. They'll feel shit. And I've seen so many people. They don't come off the drugs because of the size. They come off the drugs because of the mental attitude afterwards. They go into a depression. They can't come off them.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff like that. I mean, I have actually come across people who have severe health conditions because of their usage, and they still can't stop using, even though it's now threatening their lives. Yeah, I mean, there's a load of mixed, varied reasons why people stay on, and I mean, anabolics work. You know, you can't deny that they do work, and if managed correctly, they can be relatively beneficial to people. Are they safe? No. But can those risks be managed? Yes, very much so. And you know, you can have a usage life and a usage career that doesn't necessarily have to pose any major health impacts. Obviously, you push it, you take the piss, it'll bite you on the arse. I mean, I'm living proof of that. You know, I'm fucked because of my use. Yeah. But that's not to say that you can't use relatively successfully and relatively safely. Yes, you can. But that takes knowledge. I mean, there isn't a week goes by where I'm not informing somebody that they have wrecked their endocrine system, so now they are TRT dependent. Now, a lot of people don't care. It's fine. But there's some every week that are absolutely devastated by that because they now realize that that's going to create problems for them fertility-wise. You know, they're going to struggle to have children.
With hindsight, Dave, if I was going to go on my bodybuilding journey now, you know what I would fucking do?
Take up ballerina instead.
I would do that and freeze it, and then it's done. I don't need to worry about that ever again.
Why would you freeze your hand after shaking it?
You know what I fucking mean. There's kids up on a Sunday morning.
You still do that now?
Yeah, but that's a stress relief.
Look, we don't want any little Zacks running around. One Zac's enough.
No, but isn't that good advice, isn't it? If somebody wanted to do
to be fair, both male and female, because we are seeing similar problems now creeping into females with femtest usage and stuff.
And the thing about it, as you know, it's not only steroids now what make you fucking not be fertile anymore. It's everything around us, the environment we're in, the food we eat, the chemicals. But that's a different story. But like I said to you, the thing about it is, Dave, the main thing now is, what would you advise somebody who's going on a cycle? What should they do? Give them the fucking basic steps for the future so we can get this message out there, because there's so much dog shit advice out there, and people like you and myself need to get the good advice out there to these newbies, these dumbasses, and tell them what it is.
It all depends on where you are on your cycling career. You know, is it a first cycle? Is it a third cycle? Is it a fifth cycle?
Sit up and don't put your fucking hand on your face and speak properly. They need to listen to this advice. You sound like you don't fucking care.
Well, was there any need for such an attitude this morning? Was there really a need for that amount of aggression?
Listen, you were just slumping like. Oh. They're not gonna listen to that. I want you to be assertive.
Fuck off, you cockwomble.
Come on, Dave. Tell him.
Right.
Tell him.
So, this is a very broad topic. Dosage-wise is very much dependent on where you are in your usage career. You know, if you're starting out, your initial cycle can be comfortably anywhere between 300 and 500 milligrams. I'd stick with test only. Your body knows test. It recognizes test. It knows what to do with it. Once you've established how your body reacts to one compound, then you can look to add in a second compound. But do not start a cycle with two if you've never done it before, because you don't know what's doing what. Learn what drugs do. Now, I'm not talking about the complex intricacies of anabolic steroids, but anabolic steroids have properties. They do certain things. So testosterone converts to estrogen. It converts to DHT. DHT drugs like Masteron and Primo do not convert to estrogen, and they have a certain level of anti-estrogen properties. But you look at drugs as tools. They are tools to help you achieve a goal. So for argument's sake, if you're wanting to grow and you're bulking and you're early off in your career and you're wanting to put as much mass on possible, Primo would not be a drug I'd be choosing. No, don't get me wrong, Primo is a very mild drug in the sense of, it's not particularly toxic on the body, it's not particularly stressful, it's great in that sense, but as a result of that, it's not particularly good at building muscle mass either. So, great in a cut for muscle preservation, handy and useful because it lowers estrogen levels, but not really an all-out bulking drug. So, if you're wanting bulking, you want to be looking at drugs that are going to support that. So things like Test and Deca, very, very good for that. At the same time, if you're in a cut, you don't want to be using loads of drugs that convert to estrogen because you're just going to create problems for yourself when it comes to fat loss and water retention. So you still really need a test base, but then you're going to be looking at DHT drugs like MAS, like Primo, because they're going to help you increase the anabolics without causing any more water retention. So it's important that you learn what drugs do. They're tools. You pick the right tool for the job. You can hammer a nail into a wall with a heavy screwdriver or a heavy spanner. It's not ideal, probably make a bit of a mess, but it will do the job. Where it's much more efficient and effective to use a hammer. And that's the way you want to be looking at your drugs. Pick the right drug for the right job. Now, when you're doing that, you also have to consider you. Are you fat? Are you lean? How well do you tolerate the effects that drugs create? Are you super sensitive to estrogen? Or are you very tolerant of estrogen? If you're naturally carrying more body fat, then you're going to make more estrogen. So maybe you want to lower the drugs that create estrogen because it's going to be a problematic issue. So things like that, where you are mentally, where you are within your life, i.e., I'm starting a cycle on the 1st of September, but on the 19th of September, I'm going to an all-inclusive holiday in Barbados. Well, why the fuck are you starting your cycle on the 1st of September then? Not the best planning. So things like that, I'm starting a cycle, but I'm having to work away for 3 weeks, and I know I can't stick to my diet, and I might not be able to train. And then just postpone the cycle. People are so obsessed with starting when they wanted to start. They're not practical about, right, if I start then, am I going to have the length of the cycle where I can dedicate myself to it? Do I have potential problems coming up because of lifestyle, family commitments, work commitments? So things like that will all factor into when you start a cycle, how long that cycle is going to be. If you do PCT, the last thing you want to be doing is finishing the cycle, but be in a situation where you can't PCT, for whatever reason. So, you need to consider where you are in life as well. And then the other factor is blood work. Yeah. Are you healthy enough to start a cycle? Now, this only really generally applies to people that have previously used, but it can also apply to people that maybe have had an unhealthy lifestyle and decided they're now going to get fit and have started looking at anabolics as a way to quick fix that. If you've got a really shitty cholesterol profile, or you've got really high body fat levels, or you've got really thick blood because you snore and you've already got breathing issues when you sleep, then maybe you need to address those issues before you start looking at going on a cycle. You're always going to respond better with anabolics if you're lean. There's no two ways about that. Very quickly, when anabolics go into the system, the hormone will go into a muscle cell. It attaches to the androgen receptor. It imparts its signal. It comes back out and it journeys off again. And this process is continuous. So the same hormone that's gone into one muscle cell could enter several more before it dies off. Or it could get picked up and converted to estrogen, or it could get picked up and converted to DHT. But it has a lifespan in the body, and while it's in that lifespan, it's doing lots of things. It doesn't just go into one receptor and then that's the job done. It's released and it continues. Fat cells have receptors. The fatter you are, the more of the compound you're using is going to be tied up in fat cells, therefore not being effective at stimulating muscle cells. So the leaner you are, the more of the gear will go into muscle cells, the less will be tied up in fat. A couple of myths we'll get rid of while we're here. You don't wear out androgen receptors. You don't desensitize them. You don't fill them up. You don't need to refresh them. when a compound engages with the receptor and goes into the cell, as it comes out, that receptor splits into two and creates two receptors. So by using anabolics, you actually increase the number of receptors, and receptors die, and they're continually dying off, and they're continually being replaced. So your receptors are never full, they're never worn out, they never need refreshing, they're never blocked. What happens is the stresses of the drugs further downstream, i.e. within the body, then starts to limit your ability to grow, because your body's dealing with inflammation, it's dealing with stress, it's trying to make you healthy. It can't commit as much energy to building new tissue.
No, that's all good points there, guys. What we're going to do is for you, we're going to put this bite-sized snippets so you morphos can understand Angli, because we know what's going to happen. You're going to fucking listen to it, and all you're going to be going like, blah, 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 and you're not going to fucking listen anything. So
that sounds like you when you talk anyway.
Listen, that's when I'm in Pakistan. Okay. I have to speak that way. Okay.
Can you actually speak it?
Yeah.
Fluently?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. आप कैसे हैं? Dave Crosland, मेरा यार. आज संडे है. बहुत बेगैरत आदमी है Dave. ये बहुत शर्म नहीं करता है. इसमें मैं सर में थप्पड़ मारूंगा. And we'll release that bit, and you'll have to ask him, what does that just say? Okay.
I get the feeling I've just been insulted.
No, I was quite nice. I was quite nice.
You feeling all right? You're not well today or something?
Oh, listen, we'll end that bit now. So that'll be their little 5 minutes of giving them advice. And if any of them ask us now, come back and say, "What is that? What should I fucking do?" Yeah, we'll just fucking snip this out for them and say, "Watch this bitch. Watch this bitch."
You could put it in Braille and crayon, and somebody would still ask.
Yeah. Mate, how many times do people watch what you say and they don't look at the captions?
I mean, I send reports out to people with explanations on them and stuff, and they still ring up and go, "Right, can you explain what this means?" As well, I have just written it down in a report. But it's some people struggle with information orally, verbally.
I think they want you to say. I think they want you to say, you need to take this much vitamin C. You need to be taking this much AI, like a Rimadex. Take it in the morning at 9 o'clock and take it in the evening at 10 o'clock. They want like specific fucking instructions. Do you know what I mean?
Like I have to do with you?
Yeah, but I'm special.
Needs, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, so, guys, we've done our fucking bit for you today on Sunday. Like, me and Dave are busy. I got to scratch my balls. And what you going to do there?
His sweaty balls.
Yeah, sweaty balls to me today. What you going to do today?
He's also got some windows to lick.
Oh, fuck off. My God. Do I have to get up on Sunday to get this abuse from you, yeah?
I've had to get up, so yes. So today I have some cycle plans to write. I have some reports to write. I have some new client plans to do. I got quite a bit, actually. Then I've got to go over to the lab this afternoon and drop some bloods off.
You're not going anywhere, like, I know you like to go to your vintage car shows, you know what I mean?
I would. I had originally planned to go somewhere if there was anything happening today, but the weather is garbage, so I'm just going to work.
Like, yesterday was nice, you know.
It was, and I was thinking, oh, look, Sunday's going to be good, and it's not. So...
yeah, listen, I'm going to let you get off, because I know it's Sunday. I've held you up enough, and I'm going to cry myself back to sleep again, because you hurt my feelings. I need to up the Arimidex, because I'm acting like a bitch. And for you guys on a Sunday, if you're crying and acting like bitches, sort out your estrogen. That's what your problem is, okay? All right? On that note, see you later, guys. And from Dave, what do you want to say?
Goodbye. Have a nice week. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. Be good to one another and abuse Zach.
Oh, for fuck's sake.